And there's this ferocity and this sadism in so many instances when dealing with the people say it's the terrible twos. No, it's the confident twos being smashed up by adults. My daughter never went through the terrible twos, never went through the terrible threes. People say, oh, yeah, you think being a father is so easy. You wait till the twos come along. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll wait till the twos come along. Well, it was pretty easy. Oh, you wait till... And then people say, oh, you wait till she becomes a teenager. It's like, well, I bet you that's going to be easy too.
Right.
All of these curses, how bad and tough. Ooh, you know, if you had a boy... It's like, yeah. If you had two... right? Anyway, so I just, like, I'm thinking when you said, well, I could do the coding and so on, and you say you feel this, right?
Right.
So I just wonder the degree to which your stepdad, and to some degree your dad, and to more of a degree your mom, put this flaming sword between you and your early confidence.
Right. I do think about that. And it really is like I kind of can almost hear the words, not from him, but just, you know, I get my own internal voice saying, you know, you're not going to be able to do this. And seeing as how I have an IT degree, I happen to know just how vast the world of technology can be and how much I don't know. And, you know, when it comes to, like, you know, I tell myself, you know, if I were to try to build a website and I would try to, you know, develop, you know, this app on the web page, I would think, you know, if I can't get through this, how am I going to do even greater things with the website? Because there.
What do you mean? Wait, hang on. What, we can't get through what?
If I can't get through, see, one thing that I built was a score sheet for the call scoring sheet for the team leads, so that they can just click the radio buttons and it adds up the total, and then they can get the score of the rep. And so I built that. But during that process, it was really difficult for me to do that, because during the process, I was telling myself, you know, as I ran into problems while trying to code it, I was like, if I can't get through this, how am I going to get through, you know, doing something even more complicated with a website? Like, I don't know, anything more complicated, because, like I said, I know how complicated it can get. And that kind of thing really keeps me from being able to do a lot of stuff. Obviously, I pushed through because everybody was expecting me to do it, and I was getting paid for it. And so I had to really buckle down, but it was really difficult.
Okay, here's 101, and I'm sorry that sounds condescending. I don't mean to be that way at all, but because you didn't grow up with it. I grew up at least with some artistic background among families. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You cannot observe yourself in the act of creation. To observe yourself in the act of creation is to destroy the act of creation. So when you are coding, you cannot observe yourself coding. You cannot say, well, if I can't get through this, so what's going to happen if this, or what's going to happen with that, right?
Right.
You sang earlier beautifully.
Thank you.
And of course, part of you was thinking, hey, I hope I sound all right, right? But I hope that you were feeling the music, right? You cannot observe yourself. And the purpose of abuse is to get you to observe yourself, to push you out of yourself and have you observe yourself. You know, when people say, look at yourself from the outside, what do they mean? Complimentarily? No. They mean get out of your own skin, get out of your own experience, eject yourself from your own body so that it falls away like a downed fighter jet. Observe yourself means do not be yourself. And so this is something really, really important to understand, because I view programming as art. Of course, there's technique. So is there technique in painting. And dancing. There's technique in dancing. But the whole point of excellence is to practice and practice and practice, and then simply be in the moment of creation. Right? When I am podcasting, I am not observing myself. I'm not evaluating myself. Have I talked about this before? How does this compare? Is there inspiration happening? Was that joke funny? What are people going to think of this? Does my voice sound funny? Is the mic too far away? I am speaking as vitally and connectedly as I humanly can. And I don't know what the next words are going to be necessarily. I don't know if the next metaphor is going to work.
All right.
But when you are in pursuit of creation, when you are creating, observation is like setting fire to a movie screen. And that's one of the reasons why you prefer video games. Listen, playing video games is an escape from self-observation, right? Because you're so absorbed in the video game, you're not sitting there outside of yourself looking at yourself, right?
Right. Yeah.
So through the immediate and intense stimulation of your sensory and nervous system, you escape self-observation, right?
Right.
What did you say about declaring yourself to the woman? I've never looked so ridiculous. Right? Viewing yourself from the outside, right?
Right.
I bet you the drinking had a lot to do. I shouldn't say I bet. I would imagine that the drinking had a lot to do with escaping self-observation. The cold, critical eye that can float above us and ridicule us and make us seem ridiculous to ourselves, right?
Right.
And drinking diminishes that.
Yeah, I really felt like I was allowed to be whoever I wanted to be when I was drinking because everybody would accept it because I was drunk. So it's okay. I can just be who I want to be when I'm drunk. And I think that vividly. I remember thinking that.
Yeah, and people will always try to get you to sit outside of yourself and evaluate yourself. Because if people can get you to observe yourself, then you will paralyze yourself. Self-observation is self-paralysis.
Right, yeah.
And if you want to, you can get the same and even greater high from programming than you can from a video game. And I say this having played my share of video games and having done my damn well share of programming. You can get the same high and a greater high from programming than you do from video games. But you have to start to get the discipline together to not observe yourself.
Right.
And this doesn't mean you never do anything wrong. You can never compare your actions to a higher standard. It simply means in the moment of creation, fuck observation, fuck evaluation, fuck analysis. You fucking well create.
Right.
And you align yourself with that creation and you get behind that creation, and there is nothing that creation can do wrong, and there's nothing that you can do wrong in the act of creating. And then, after the skyfall of the new mountain of what you have created, then you can map that piece of shit and you can find out if it's good or bad or right or wrong, and you can evaluate it all you want. But in the moment of creation, commit to the creation, not to the observation, which brings a hammer down on the delicate crystal of making something new.
Right. Yeah. I think I can. I think I can do that.
If you're dancing and you watch yourself from the outside, you fall.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I mean, when I write, which I actually dictate, but when I'm creating a book or when I'm writing or dictating, it's the ideas, the language, and the words. I'm not thinking, what are people going to think of this? What's the book cover going to be like? Does my voice sound funny? You know, like it's the passionate connection with whatever it is that you're creating, with all negative language pushed aside as a stain upon the very act of creation.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, somebody's asked, how do you avoid viewing yourself in the moment? Well, anger. Anger. Fuck you, critical voices. Hey, critical voices, you feel like taking over here? Y'all know so much. Why don't you take over? Oh, do you not want to take over? Oh, don't you want to do the writing? Oh, then maybe you should step the fuck aside and let me get something done here. Afterwards, I will consult with you. I'm not calling you an enemy. Right now, you're in the way. Right now, you're shouting numbers in my ear while I'm trying to do complex math. So fuck off with that. Talk to me later. Get behind me, help me, or fuck off for now. And of course, you're really not talking to your critical voices, are you?
Right.
Who are you talking to?
My parents.
Yeah. All the people who put that bullshit in your head. All the people holding you upside down and hitting your tender body, right?
Right.
Back the fuck off. Give a brother some space to create. You know, don't criticize my cooking if you're not willing to step into the goddamn kitchen.
Right.
If you can write better in a critics, then take over. I leave the dictation microphone in your hands. Show me how it's done. Show me how. You can create so wonderfully that you can criticize me in the very act of creating. You're so good at it, you do it. Oh, don't you want to do it? Oh, not such a tough talker now, are you? Then back the fuck off and let me create. Help me create. But don't get in my goddamn way. Between me and creation is a straight 100-yard track without even air resistance. You get in the way, you're going to have a Steph-size hole right in your ass. Get behind me and propel me. Step aside. Meet me at the end. We'll talk about it then, but don't get in my fucking way. Unless you can do it better.
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
All these people tell me how I should be doing this show. Call in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not hard to find.
Right.
Do a better show. God. I mean, it's not like I don't have a giant mere spaceship worth $1 trillion floating over the planet, beaming special microwave waves directly into people's brains.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a guy with a mic and an internet plan. That's it. You got a cell phone? You know where the library is? Go compete. Don't tell me how to do it better. Show me how to do it better. Oh, that Freddie Mercury. I don't think he was a great singer. I don't think he was a good frontman. I could do so much better. Why are you talking about him? Go and do it. Don't bitch at me. Beat me. Go win. Go take my audience. Go do what you can do. That's so fat. Oh, that Steph guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an idiot. He's a stupid. Well, there's obviously a market for philosophy. If I suck, come and don't suck.
Right.
Come and be without the sucking. Right. Come and be with the brains. Come and be with the skill. I don't like the way he talked to that caller. Get that caller to come on your show. Show me how it's done. I'll worry about how I talk to my callers when nobody wants to talk to me anymore. Anyway. I just really want to point out to you that these inner critics is a mean. You don't want to be somebody who doesn't self-analyze and self-criticize, of course, right? But at the same time, the inner critics can't be air horns to your symphony, right?
Right.
So you've got some stuff to be angry about. I know we've brushed past your mom, but basically, Presley, your stepdad was in your life because your mom wanted him there.
Right.
Right? She invited him in. I hate to put it this crudely. She had sex with him repeatedly. At least 3 times that we know of. And she cooked for him. I assume she kept house with him. She did whatever, right?
Right.
So he was there because she wanted him there.
Yeah.
And the only fundamental reward mechanism that men have is sex.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to put it that crudely. Because biologically, that's the only thing that reinforces whatever genetics we have, right? If you have some preferences and you don't get any sex, those preferences will not be part of the future gene pool, right?
Right.
So the only positive reinforcement that fundamentally matters to men or to women is sex. Whoever you're giving sex to is the absolute pinnacle of your life's existence.
Yeah.
So she was like, hey, that guy who holds my kids upside down and beats them with a belt, fuck, he's the best.
Yeah, she had already had 3 kids by the time she met him, and I know that a lot of people in my family, like, they don't understand why he got with my mom, because woman with 3 kids, and you go off and get married to him and take in all those kids, and everybody's like, oh, he's such a great guy for taking in all those kids and stuff like that. And the thing that pisses me off is, like, when I go over there and then they say stuff, I'm so proud of you, we did a good job raising you, you got a job, you got your own place, and it's just like, you don't have any kids, and you're stable, and it's just kind of like, I'm thinking, like, that had nothing to do with you. Like, they weren't in class when I was in college. They didn't go out and get the job and interview and all. They didn't do any of that. And it's just like they're trying to take credit when they did all this shit to me. And it's just, it really pisses me off.
Well, this is, it's like a communist dictatorship taking credit for the remnants of the economy kept alive by the black market.
Right.
I mean, not only did they not do the stuff that they claim, but they interfered.
Yeah.
With your development significantly.
Right.
But now you're part of the propaganda machine, right? Now you're part of, well, you got to now believe this. And now we're rewriting the past, and it's all 1984 stuff, right?
Right.
Got to rewrite the past. No one's allowed to have any dissenting opinions. We were always a happy and wonderful family. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And nothing bad happened. And if it did, well, we did the best we could, but the knowledge we had at the time. And, blah, blah, blah. And I was beaten as a kid. And it turned out all right, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard.
I like that. People say, well, your mom must have done something right, Steph, because look who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they say that a lot about concentration camp victims, too. A lot of concentration camp victims came out and wrote some amazing plays, amazing poetry.
Right.
So, yay, Nazis. Good job provoking all that creativity.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. Those Nazis must have done something right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would certainly talk about your issues, but also focus on, your brain's dying on the stem, right?